All right, guys, so this is ugly, to say the least. Shocking new video shows Uvalde police do absolutely nothing for 77 minutes during a massacre. So I'm going to show you the CNN video. They chopped it down a little bit. They censored the gunshot sounds. I think it'll say, like, gunshot sounds on screen in writing when the killer is shooting. But you'll get a sense of how the cops dealt with it, and look, there's no other way to describe it except extreme cowardice. So let's watch. Oh, by the way, this is, if you're sensitive, and it is unsettling. This is an unsettling video, so I want to warn you in advance. Here we go. On May 24th, surveillance video shows a truck crash near Robb Elementary. That's where the circle is on the screen. The gunman in the crash vehicle fires 3 shots at 2 men who approach the crash scene. So they're running away. So that's the first. So the first phone call was then to the cops. Okay. And the guy, the killer, isn't even in the school yet. I think he was just shooting outside, and the first call was made to the cops. So we're looking at now, in a reasonable world, the timeline is such that the cops can get there and nip this thing in the bud, because they called them right away. Okay, let's watch. The gunman begins shooting at the school from the parking lot. So he's still not in the school. Bystander video captures the gunman entering the school. So here he is, entering. There's going to be a kid who turns the corner here and sees him. A young student comes around the corner as the gunman walks down the hall. He stops. He sees the guy. This kid definitely has his wits about him because he just dips. The gunman fires his AR-15 inside 2 classrooms for 2.5 minutes. So that's when the gunman enters the classroom and does the unimaginable. Authorities say more than 100 rounds were fired. Okay. Now, look at what happens here. So this said, before this corner here, where it says real time, when the gunman walked in, it said about 11:33. 11:33. Now it's 11:36. Just 3 minutes. So the cops got the call, came right away. They rush in like they're going to save the day and do what their fucking job is, right? Watch what happens. Watch this. Okay, so a couple of them go down the hall. You got some behind. Some officers rush toward the classroom. Okay. Now let me just pause and say this. It looks like that, they have some sort of like pre-planned formation here. Like, I'll take this corner, you take that corner, you take that corner. No, I just think the cops who ran up to the door were perhaps more brave than the ones who stayed back. And they're just like waiting like, all right, what's going to happen? Because they know there's a gunman. They don't want to get shot and killed. And this is something that one of the top Uvalde officers admitted. Like, oh, our guys didn't want to get killed. Okay, well, perhaps you're in the wrong line of work. You signed up to try to protect the kids if there's a gunman. Watch. Again, this is going to get more and more infuriating. Try to look down here. Try to look down here. Now, that cop right there, by the way, he just looked at his phone. People zoomed in on that picture. The background on his phone is the Punisher symbol. The Punisher. I don't watch the show, but my understanding of it is like, badass law enforcement who takes matters into his own hands and, does retributive justice. You know, like, I take out the bad guys and I do it on my own terms. You know, forget the process and the procedure. Like, we'll take out the bad guys. It's very like, you know, good guy, bad guy, good versus evil, that sort of thing. And the dude who's got the Punisher thing on his phone is one of the furthest away from the classroom. More's going to happen, watch. Okay, so now the cops are running away. 4 minutes later, officers retreat to hallway and take cover after shots were fired by the gunman. All right, so look at this guy. So they heard shots. They rush in 3 minutes after the gunman gets there. They run up to the classroom. They stand there for a few minutes. They hear some shots, and they run away. And that guy was like, "Oh, did I get shot? Did I get shot?" They heard the shots, and they ran away. The gunman is still in there. There's still people kids calling 911. Wait, it's going to get worse and worse, man. It's going to get worse and worse. So now they jumped ahead. They jumped ahead in time. More heavily armed officers continue to arrive with some ballistic shields. Now look at the time. 31 minutes later, 12:04. Ever since they heard the shots, they ran away from the classroom, and now nobody's even down there. Now the cops are all waiting at this end of the hallway, waiting for the dude to walk out as he's massacring kids. Oh my God. Wait, it gets worse. This is 31 minutes later. They ran away from the door after 3 minutes and then never went back. Watch. Shields. 12:09, 36 minutes later. Still no rescue attempt. Look at all of them standing there. 48 minutes later, the gunman is heard firing 4 more rounds. The gunman is heard firing 4 more rounds 48 minutes later, and they're just standing there. With their shields up, what, waiting for him to exit the classroom? He's killing children. Oh my God. There's not a punishment strong enough for these guys. Every single one of them should be fired. At the very least, they should really get jail time. An abdication of their responsibility. Negligence. Gross negligence. So walking down the hallway now. "57 minutes later." So they've moved down the hallway. The gunman is still in the classroom. They haven't gotten in the classroom yet. Guy getting hand sanitizer. Getting hand sanitizer. Gotta wash your hands of the blood of dead kids. That's what you gotta do, right? "77 minutes later." Now, those gunshots you hear are them killing the gunman. 77 minutes later. Now, look, the original reporting, and I don't know if this has changed. I haven't seen anything that contradicts it, although so much stuff has come out. Perhaps I missed it. But my understanding was 77 minutes later, and it wasn't even a police officer who burst in that door and killed him. It was a Border Patrol agent. So the cops were still just standing there and waiting. 77 minutes later. They were there within 4 minutes of the gunman entering the school. How many lives could they have saved if the second they got in there, they burst down the door and killed him? How many lives could they have saved? They could have gotten some of those kids who ended up dying to the hospital, and maybe some of them would have survived. There were more kids that were killed between when they got there and then when they burst in the door. 77 minutes later. 77 minutes. Jesus Christ. Total chaos. Look, these are a bunch of boys. That's what this is. These are a bunch of little boys. They signed up for this job, and then they abdicated their responsibility because they were scared. They're cowards. Pathetic. Throw the book at them, man. Throw the book at them. Fire them. They should be charged If you were there and you were standing there waiting as kids were getting killed, I have some choice words for you, but I don't think I could say them because I'd get banned from YouTube. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.